Hi Yash, how are you?
Hi, Manan. Long
Uh,
time no see.
yeah. I guess I remember the last time we met was exactly before the lockdown
Lockdown.
started.
Yeah.
That is March 2020, and that back then also we had met after like
But I'm still a
many
little
years,
upset. I'm
many.
still a little upset about it. I told you we're eating dinner together. You ate, you just sat there.
Oh yeah. I
Who does
remember.
that?
Yeah. Jeez.
So now we have to go out for pizza again.
Yes.
Hopefully in Dubai, because why would you come to Mumbai anyway?
India, right. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Next, this time we have pizza. This time I'll also have pizza. I mean, I won't bail on you this time. But it was a great time because last time we met nearly after, I guess, after school, I would say. We did
Yeah.
not meet any time before, after leaving school.
Yes, correct. There was, I think, a reunion, but I don't think you could make it.
Yeah,
Bef-
back in 2018, right? December 2018.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I was out with my family for like 15 days.
Right.
Yeah, but with that, it's great to catch up with you now. And seriously, I mean, Yash, tell me something. Tell me things that I don't know about you. I mean, I've known you since school, what you do and what you are into.
Right. So I was very carefree back then. So I
Hmm.
think that has changed. Obviously, human beings evolve and they become, I mean, adulthood does a lot of things to people. So what adulthood has done to me, that I've become more responsible. And I like that. I really like that because now I don't have to hear it from anyone. People ask me things, hey, is that done? Is that done? I'm like, yeah, I've taken care of all that. So
Hmm.
I pre-plan things, I'm more punctual. So I like all of that now. I like the new me. So back then I was like, who gives a shit, man? Just like, so I was like a proper, like how teens are, but I was more rebellious that way. Um, in other senses, I wake up early every day, even if I have nowhere to be. Um, so all those things I really like. These are good changes, and I think they will help me in the long run.
You
So
know,
it's
with
kind of
this with this
yeah,
waking up early wala thing, I
yeah,
say as in when we were kids, okay, when we were teenagers, every time our parents used to say that, "Arey, jaldi उठ जाओ." We used
yeah,
to wonder that इतना क्या है जल्दी उठने में? What is the
yeah,
hype about waking up early? But now that we have grown up, it has a meaning that if you wake up early, it frees up a lot of your day and you can do a lot of things. Because if you wake up late, like around 11 or 12, then it is immediately lunchtime after a few hours, and that is not good. So, for a schedule to be in alignment, I guess that is the reason we have to wake up early.
right. So there's only recently. So I keep meeting people. I'm a very people's person. So only recently I happened to attend this party, my first public event after the pandemic.
Hmm.
So there were some 35 odd people, great bunch of people. And my friend's father was also there. So he's an entrepreneur and he's built a business from scratch. And so I like speaking to him. I like talking to him because he has a very different perspective about life in general. So he said a very nice thing. It's a quote by a popular Gujarati poet, I think, but he quoted it. So I don't know who it's from originally,
Hmm.
but I heard it from him. So I'm gonna tell you. So it's gonna be in Gujarati. So I hope the
Uh,
audience is like. So
yeah.
he said, "તમે ઉગતા હુઆ સૂરજને જોવો છો એ સારી વાત છે. That's a good thing. But સૂરજ ઉગી જાય પછી જોતા રહ્યો એને તો તમે તમારું કઈ નથી. Once it's up in the air, you have to get moving. So I guess that's a very profound quote that I came across this way. So I take a little something from everyone. This is what I took from that. Um,
Yeah, this is really a profound quote. I mean, how this is like, yeah, waking up is fine, but at the same time, you have to get along with your day as well. ऐसा नहीं है कि 8
yeah,
बजे उठ गए and then you just lie back on your bed. कह रहे हाँ ठीक है जल्दी तो उठ गया मैं.
huh,
Right. Amazing. So yes, you tell me, you say that you have taken, something from everyone in terms of your learning.
Yeah.
What I have seen is that you are a mechanical engineer, right? And you told me that your interest lies in sustainable energy and leaving the earth better than the way you found it, right?
Yeah.
So what is it about this energy and sustainability and a better future?
So it goes way back actually. So I feel like all my life I had been lying to myself
Hmm.
that I like physics. But actually, deep down, I always liked EVS. I always liked geography. And I had the aptitude for physics and math. Like if you give me a problem, I'll be able to like handle it.
Hmm.
So now interest and aptitude, I had this constant battle. So even when you're preparing for JEE, so they tell you कि अच्छा ये problem ऐसे आएगा ऐसे आएगा ऐसे आएगा. So I was able to do a lot of them, like those MCQs I was able to handle. So I had the
Hmm.
aptitude for engineering. I had the aptitude for mechanical engineering, and so I took it. And with my keen interest in cars, everybody thought that I'm doing mechanical engineering so that I can do something in the field of cars.
Automobile engineer. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what everyone thought. Like
Yeah.
everybody, right? Even I sometimes talk to some of these juniors from our school. Um, so like randomly on Instagram, there's that we're talking. So they're like, "Oh, you're doing mechanical, so now what? You'll do masters in automobile."
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, it's pretty much just a hobby. I don't think I'm going to pursue a career in automobile.
Hmm.
Um, However, it is an exciting space right now with the EV thing coming into perspective. But automobile was never for me. Even while doing mechanical engineering, I was thinking more on the lines of industrial engineering, industrial management, manufacturing, supply chain
Hmm.
management. These I was contemplating on these lines.
Hmm.
But I think just before lockdown, before I met
Hmm.
you, so I have a mentor. Okay, so everyone has one person they look up to, right?
Right. Right.
So I have a mentor as well. His name is Mr. Deepak Gadhia,
Hmm.
and he's a scientist. And he's been working in the solar thermal industry for the past 3 or 4 decades now.
Wow. Three
Yeah,
or four. That's like half the life dedicated to one purpose.
yes, absolutely. And he studied in the Open University at Berlin in
Hmm.
Germany. So his German is actually better than most native Germans. Like if you're
Wow.
talking, if you're speaking just about the grammar and the sentence formation and all of that, so
Hmm.
people who live in Germany now speak like a slang type of German, which is like,
Hmm. Like
hey,
the
what you up
way,
to?
yeah, yeah. See, I have this anecdote, okay, that I found. So
Yeah,
when now I'm living in Dubai, I've
yeah,
met Britishers and I've met Irish people as well.
yeah.
Okay. So my anecdote is Irish people are to Britishers what Surti people are to Gujaratis. Because they are
Stalny,
literally,
Stalny,
they are spoiling the language totally,
they
man.
are. Surtis are fucking demented, yeah. Huh? I hate Surat, dude.
So I guess
Plus,
the Germans are
I'm from
also moving in the
I'm from
same direction.
Saurashtra, so it is my birthright to hate like people from Gujarat. I'm from Saurashtra, like out and out.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So where was I? So Mr. Deepak Gadhia. So I had always been in talks with him since a very early age. I think
Hmm.
I'd say 18, 19. So I'll tell you a little bit about his own life. So I look up to him in a lot of ways. So he pursued his education in Germany, which is all right.
Hmm.
And he's dedicated his entire life to solar thermal research and implementation. Also, he's been involved in so many startups. He mentors a lot of startup founders in the energy space.
Energy sector, right?
Yeah. Now, Mr. Deepak has devoted his entire life to serving this ashram. So this
Hmm.
ashram is for cancer patients only. Like it's like Tata Memorial Hospital for Gujarat. So this
Oh.
ashram is called Muni Ashram. It's in Goraj. Goraj is near Vadodara.
Hmm.
So I've been to the ashram. They are running around 100 kilowatt of air conditioning systems for the entire hospital, completely on renewable energy.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's called the Green Ashram, basically.
Damn.
Yeah, and there's
So much. I don't know the right word. So yeah, I mean, it's
and
great, I would say.
if you ever visit India, I would love to take you there, and even Mr. Gadhia would be thrilled to show you around. Yeah, so in the ashram, there's state of the art facility for cancer patients, for chemotherapy, all that. And they do a lot of green initiatives as well. They have a biomass plant, basically green ashram and the works. Like they have a different sort of waste management system, all of that. So it's an amazing place to be. So I was always in touch with them, touch with
Him.
Mr. Gadhia. Yeah, and I told him that okay, I'm looking at this industry. Like it's fantastic. I've always been telling you energy is the way to go. So he's sort of my role model in this space, and I really look up to him in a lot of ways. Like he's now serving the ashram, which houses cancer patients. So I feel it's like a very good way to give back to the world. So yeah, I guess I'm just surrounded by really good people.
Good people.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. Yeah, so I say, I think 2019, end of 2019, I sort of knew, okay, this is the way to go. So before I met you last year to 2020, I had just been, again, like I had been to Vadodara, to Goraj actually, to meet Mr. Gadhia. I had a word with him. I'm like, okay, I'm planning to take up a career in energy. He's like, that's fantastic. I could be happier. What can I do for you? I was like, nothing as of now. But if I ever need anything, I'll let you know. So even the college that I'm enrolled in right now, the college in Delhi that I'm enrolled in, all my professors know Mr. Gadhia.
Whoa, so he's quite a big personality in the energy sector.
Yeah. So instead, like I was just listening to a lecture. So now that lectures are taking place remotely, I was listening to the lecture, and he's like, there's a very distinguished individual in the space of solar thermal research. His name is Mr. Deepak Gadhia. I'm like, whoa. So he mentioned it on his own. Like I didn't have to say it. Like they mentioned him. I didn't say anything. But then I didn't unmute and like start a conversation about it because I'm not that sort of person. So I like prefer remaining low key about all this.
Right.
So all of these guys, like my professors, worship him, and he takes out time just to see me because he likes me. He likes my family. He likes my father. So okay. By the way, he's a family friend through my.
All right.
Yeah. So he takes time out to see me. We have coffee, eat idli together, and like it's chill. But then all these people really look up to him, and I know him as like a friend who's 75, who knows a lot about life, who's really wise. So I tell him everything how it is. Like maybe how I don't talk to my parents also, I can like communicate with him. So it's really nice. The only disadvantage of all this is I have to go to Vadodara each time I want to see him because he doesn't go out. He doesn't go out much because he can't leave the ashram for too long. Yeah.
Wow, so this is what inspired you to get into energy, Mr. Deepak Gadhia.
Yeah, you can say.
Wow.
Also,
but I guess, it will continue.
No, like I said, my favorite subjects have always been like EVS and geography, and that's all my zone. So right now, when I'm doing these subjects in energy, where we have to like look at latitudes, longitudes, and like we have to see how to map, how much radiation, how much solar insolation takes place in one particular region via satellite. So it's a lot of fun. Like I'm finally happy. I'm finally learning something I really enjoy. So I'm in a very good headspace at the moment. There couldn't have been a better time to schedule this podcast. Like,
wow. So this is I'm glad you are enjoying what you're doing. Really glad. And I guess, I guess you'll do great in it, man. I mean, I do believe you'll do great in it. I mean, there's always that passion is a added, advantage to the competitors, I would say, in anything that you do. Like, okay, people have the aptitude to crack one or two subjects, crack the exam, crack the degree, but in the long term, it is always what I would say, the inherent, desire to continuously get better at it that gets you the advantage over the competitors.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how I see it is, although you have, changed your mind from automobile to energy. I guess now that the cars and the world is moving in a direction where cars like Tesla, the hybrid cars and electric cars are preferred. I guess this is somewhat will in the future will be connected to the automobile. Like at some point of time, there will come an intersection where you will be like, oh, ये तो मैं जो चीज छोड़ दिया था, today I'm meeting that thing again करके.
Yeah, I am open to the possibility of it. 100% am. Like, I was only recently discussing this business proposition with someone that let's install a EV station because there isn't one in our area.
Oh,
What
EV
is
what?
entrepreneurship?
I would
EV
say
charging station.
EV charging station. Okay.
Yeah, so there isn't one in my area because I can see my maternal uncle. I'm really close to him. Okay, my mama, basically my mom's brother. If I didn't call him mama, I would call him dad. We're that close. Like he's
Right.
he's so my mama and mommy are like a second set of parents for me. And they're much younger also. So my mommy is 1980 born. So that generational gap has decreased to some extent. So there are certain things I can talk to them about, and they'll get it better than my own parents sometimes. So he just bought an EV, and I can see on his app where all the charging stations are, and there isn't one in our area. Like not even in a office building somewhere in the basement. Okay. So I was just pitching it to him. I was like, let's install an EV charging station in our area because there isn't one. And what is entrepreneurship? You just identify a gap in the market, you try to solve a problem, and there you have an idea. So yeah, I was saying that I'm open to it. I'm not against it at all. And if I see a good opportunity, I'll go for it. Like Asami.
Right.
But like since we're talking about cars, anyone who is doing some sort of research based on combustion engines still is probably going in the wrong direction right now. Like when you talk about automobiles, I don't think okay, obviously you can try and increase the efficiency and all that, but there's a limit to all of that. These petrol and diesel powered cars are very dirty actually in terms of emissions. But on the other hand, to produce lithium-ion batteries takes up a lot of energy, like an insane amount of energy. Because now, can we go delve deeper into this for a minute?
Yeah, for a few minutes. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So now the problem with lithium-ion batteries is that they're reusable. I understand. So once you once they're used in a car for about 8 to 10 years, you can remove them and use them for energy storage. So what it entails 3 parts: energy. First part is generation, like energy generation. Second is distribution, and third is storage. These are like the 3 main pillars of energy. So after these car batteries have been used in a car for 8 to 10 years, they're still good enough to be used to store energy.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're reusable, but again, to store energy for a short period of time. So when I say short period of time in the industry, it sort of means like 3 or 4 years tops. These used car batteries can also run small sized boats.
Oh.
They can also run small sized forklifts in warehouses. So after these batteries are used, there is a use for them as well, but eventually they will run out of the use. Now let's come to the problem, okay, with lithium-ion batteries. To produce lithium-ion batteries, you have to, okay, like lithium is an element, okay, it exists in the world, but it is limited, like any other element. How much can you possibly mine? So the world's 50% lithium resources are, I think, in South America, in Argentina and Chile.
Okay.
And they've not used so much of it yet. They've probably used up like 8 to 10% of their reserve. Right now, we still have 90% to go, which is all right. But again, it is limited. Now, in lithium-ion batteries, there's another metal called cobalt. You, bachpan mein padha hoga, like.
Yeah, cobalt. Yeah.
Yeah, because you took commerce, so I understand there's a slight disconnect. I understand.
Yeah.
You must have done this in 9th and 10th and all that. It's been 8 years to that. So no, I get it. So cobalt is messed up. cobalt in the entire world is messed up because I think cobalt reserves are in Republic of Congo and only in Congo. Like the majority reserves are in the Republic of Congo.
Right.
So now, have you heard about Sivakasi fireworks and standard fireworks and all that?
Yeah.
Do you know how many PILs had been filed because of child labor and all of that for Sivakasi?
I am not aware of the exact number, but I guess since
Okay.
they are
Yeah.
sweatshops में बच्चों का काम करवा रहे, तो obviously they must be facing a lot of repercussions.
Yeah. So the same issue exists in Congo. Underage children are made to work in these cobalt mines. And now cobalt isn't exactly a good element. Okay, if these kids inhale all this cobalt in these cobalt mines, they will face a lot of respiratory issues. And cobalt is like carcinogenic, like properly. So yeah, by the way, even cobalt is used in your tattoo ink also to some level. That's why tattoos are carcinogenic.
Oh, so what is the meaning of carcinogenic?
Carcinogenic is anything that has the potential of causing cancer in human beings.
Oh.
Yeah. So now when you make a lithium-ion battery, you're using all these heavy metals. Okay. Now to dispose of these lithium-ion batteries is a major challenge right now. So what I feel is that instead of rushing towards lithium-ion batteries, instead of rushing towards EVs, instead of rushing to buy the newest Tesla, I think we should what we need to do right now is reduce your need of personal mobility. Now the pandemic has messed that up. Like myself, for example, I wouldn't mind taking a train to some place. Okay, I'm all pro trains. Okay, I'm all pro public transport because obviously at some level I'm conscious about my carbon footprint and all that. So if 4 of us are going in a car from here to say Dahisar, so that is all right. Okay, maybe to some level it's okay. But if I'm using the entire car for myself alone from here to Dahisar, then it's probably not working out in terms of the emission part. Okay, for the emissions part of it. So I'm all pro trains. I'll just take a train and go. It's not only quicker, it's also greener, like any day. So instead of having your personal car, which is electric, and there's a feel good factor about electric vehicles right now. Oh, I'm going green. So you're really not going green because it takes more energy to produce an electric vehicle than it takes to produce a normal diesel powered vehicle. And when you speak about, there's a misconception that EVs are greener. EVs are actually around 33% less green, 33% less green to produce than a regular diesel powered car.
Whoa.
Like it is greener to make a diesel powered car than it is to produce an EV.
Wow. This is some really, behind the door information, I would say, that people don't know. And that, it's like that. Yeah, the feel good effect, I can totally understand that. Arey, maine Tesla le li, a hybrid car le li. So they are like, hey, I am saving the environment. Karke.
Green initiative.
Yeah, green initiative. ऐसा गाड़ी पे ऐसा एक लीफ का लोगो होगा.
And
Honestly.
right now, for a country like India, for a developing country like India, most of our energy comes from burning fossil fuels. So to have an EV in India is like, it doesn't make sense at all. Okay, it's cheaper to run, no doubt. Petrol is like what, 111 rupees today in Mumbai. Yeah. Petrol, 1 liter. So no doubt EVs are cheaper to run, but they're not green by any means.
So when you said that there is no EV machine in your area, so let's just talk about Mumbai for now. How many EV machines are there, and how many electric or hybrid cars are there? If you have a rough estimate of it.
Yeah,
and where are they located? Particularly the charging points.
Yeah, I do. I think in and around Mumbai, I think we have 8,000 EVs right now.
Okay.
And I'm only talking about 4-wheelers, not scooters.
Right.
So now you have Ola Electric coming up with scooters. You have Ather. There's Bajaj Chetak. Bajaj Chetak is now electric.
Wow.
Yeah. So earlier Bajaj Chetak was a scooter, right?
ऐसा वो जोर से kick मारना पड़ता था, right?
Yeah, and वो टेढ़ा भी करना पड़ता था. Like like for fuel to go in the fuel line, you have to do it. There was a joke, I think, some Gujju went to NASA and the rocket wasn't going, it wasn't taking off. The rocket wasn't taking off. So Gujju's like, "Arey, do one thing, na isko teda karo aur fir udao." टेढ़ा किया तो उड़ गया वो. So he's like, अच्छा आपको कैसे पता चला टेढ़ा करना है? He's like, नहीं मेरा स्कूटर नहीं चलता है ना तो मैं उसको टेढ़ा करता हूँ.
Wow.
Yeah, so Bajaj Chetak, they've used the name to now name an electric scooter.
So there are 8,000 EVs.
8,000 EVs. Like last time I read, because now when you're in this space, your eye and your brain are trained to like look for things that are like
that are matter to a lot. Right.
Yeah.
That filtering out is always there, right?
Yeah. So even when you're skimming through like the Hindu or Times of India or whatever, so your eyes just stop there.
Gets locked on the figures or something.
Yeah. So around 8,000 EVs, and most of them are Tata Nexons, by the way. The major chunk of these EVs are Tata Nexons. So it's the best-selling EV in India right now.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's the only sub 20 lakh EV right now. Tata Nexon.
So Tata Nexon has its own charging point. Charging.
So these charging stations are universal. You don't have ये Nexon के लिए है, ये MG के लिए है. It's not like that. These charging stations are universal. You have to only see the wattage of the charger. So wattage will determine how long it will take for your car to charge. So if you're running late for a meeting, you can't stop at a slow charger and wait for your car to charge. You have to look for a fast charger.
Right. Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
so this is quite interesting, I would say. See, I have moved to Dubai over it's been like one year, nearly 1 year. What I'm seeing is yes, there are Teslas over here. Not a lot, I would say, but when compared to India, there are many Teslas, and the charging points are there, and they are there in every parking. If you go to a mall, any random mall, and so there is a specific area dedicated to electric cars where they have the charging points dedicated. And one added advantage what the government has done is so what India mein hum toll tax bharte hai, right? So यहाँ पे Dubai में it is called Salik, and it is completely what I would say without human interference. Okay, so if there is a point जो as a toll वहाँ पे designated है, the moment you pass that bridge, automatically your money gets cut, debited from your account. तो वैसा है. So what the government has done is that if you have an electric car or a hybrid car, then you don't have to pay the Salik as well. No toll tax on you. So this is encouraging people, that we should move to this and that, but it's not affordable at the same time. I've seen the prices. Teslas are quite expensive. Yeah. And maybe in the long run, it will be some, many people will change.
Are you looking to buy an EV right now?
No, nothing like that. But it's really interesting to see Teslas. But yeah. Oh. So now the place where you're doing your master's from, M.Tech from, how is what I would say, the prospect when you go out of the college? Like, what is it? So what is it that makes it the best college for sustainability energy?
So I think it's the only college in India that has only sustainability related courses.
Wow. Only college in India. I mean the entire of India, which has so many colleges and Jesus.
So now all these programs, I'll tell you. So I'm doing M.Tech in renewable energy, engineering, and management. There's another M.Tech. It relates to urban development. So again, they have waste management and energy efficiency and all of that. So all that going on. Then they have MBA sustainable development. Then they have MSc economics. That's like a general one. But other than that, there are MSc in sustainable development. There is policy making. So it is the only college in India which has all sustainability related courses, and its reputation is very good in India. Yeah, so I was saying it's the only college with all sustainability related courses, and there have been times in the industry, like I've heard from a lot of sources, that someone with an MBA sustainable development from our college has gotten preference over someone from an IIM.
Wow.
A lot of times.
Wow.
Also, like TERI is a big think tank, so they take up a lot of intergovernmental projects with the government of, say, Myanmar or say Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Indonesia. So they take up a lot of energy solution projects for other countries as well, not only India but outside as well. So they have a lot of role. They play a big role in policy making also for our country. So if you ever read an article, if you read energy related articles on web, they always have to quote the source, right? So in brackets you will see TERI a lot of times as a source. Like
Wow.
this, like say there's a research which says only so many grams of CO2 is produced from the emissions of XYZ thing. So when they quote the source in brackets, you always see TERI. And I have been reading these articles since the beginning. And I say, okay, TERI hai, TERI.
But right.
Me, I sort of knew, okay, it's an organization, this, that. But when I was, so I was supposed to go to UK, like I told you. So I got scholarships from like amazing schools. So it was sort of hard on my part. Like, I'm like, shit, what am I doing? Because there's a perception like, जो abroad नहीं जाता उसकी लग गई इधर.
हाँ, right. That is
like you're not going anywhere in life. So that perception among my relatives in my immediate family, it's like, Yash, you got into this college, wow, and you don't want to go. I'm like, no. So what? I'll tell you something. The ground reality of things is like these people go there.
Just to interrupt, what is which colleges did you get into London universities?
So my course, there were two good colleges. There are three good colleges. So there is Loughborough. It's near Leicester. Then there is Durham. Durham is in north of England. And there's Imperial College London. So
Imperial College.
So I didn't apply to Imperial College.
Okay.
The thing is, before, so my average was decent, okay, with engineering. So my CGPA was 7.2 or something that time. My cumulative CGPA was 7.2. So Imperial College needed, they say they need like an upper second. So 7.2 is an upper second, probably. But then these online semesters started. So my GPA went through the roof. So when I applied to these colleges, I thought that even like at Imperial, I didn't have a very good chance because now it's in like the top 10 in the world for engineering and all of that. So I didn't apply there. I was like, acha, ye badhne de, then apply. After online semester. So eventually I didn't end up applying. The window shut and my result came late and all that. So Imperial I didn't apply to. That's one little regret because I feel like I
you would have gotten into it. Yeah, even I think that.
So, but that's okay. I mean, also this course is like a niche, right? It's a very small number of people apply for renewable energy.
Yeah.
So,
you were talking about the reality. What is the ground reality of why people go to abroad for masters at all?
When you sit with someone who's already studied abroad and who's already there or something, they're like, I spoke to a lot of people because it's like a big decision in my life, right? So I spoke to relatives, I spoke to friends, I spoke to friends of friends, and I asked them, okay, what's the advantage of studying, say, in UK? It's like you'll get exposure. What kind of exposure? What kind of exposure are you talking about? It's like, no, it's like a good country. There's like, you meet different people. I'm like, do I need to do a degree to meet different people? So he's like, not technically, but it's like it's a nice cohort to be in, and like you'll have friends who are from Russia, you have friends who are from Nigeria, everybody will come together. So,
So it's like an expensive party. 50 lakhs ka party hai ye to.
Yeah. So I was like, you want me to spend 50 lakhs for this vague exposure that you're talking about? And everybody's struggling there. I'll tell you something, okay? So I have never worn clothes that are not ironed. Like never. Like if I have a shirt that doesn't have those creases, I'll put it back.
Right.
You know, so I have never lived that life, and I didn't want to live that life. So now in Delhi, I can have like a cook and an istriwala and like the works. Yeah, and all I have to do is like focus on studies.
On studies.
Yeah, and that's how I would like it. I don't want to spend. And you know what? The worst part, okay, about living abroad is like you spend 45 to 50 minutes cooking, okay?
Yeah.
And you finish eating in 7 minutes.
Yeah, the same duration. No, I find this very silly, I would say, कि लोग बाहर जाते हैं, ठीक है, and they start saying all this stuff that you must have also heard, कि yeah, I started living independently. I'm like, okay, so कैसे रहने लगे independently? Oh yeah, so what happened is ना कि मैं college जाता था सुबह, so for going to college I had to prepare my own breakfast. Okay, then after coming to college I had to sit down to study, then I had to make my own dinner as well, and then I had to wash my own utensils, I had to get my laundry done and everything, and then yet I would study for 2 hours at night and then head straight to college in the morning, like ऐसा आधी नींद में जाता था. So all these mundane activities that can be done in your own country as well, you're going abroad, you're doing the same mundane activities, and yet taking money from your father ke papa ye mahine bhi bhijwa de raha karke, and saying that this is a personal development. Oh, I became a very better human being, you know that. ये cooking, and another part is, I wanted to stay independent and I don't want to ask money from my father, so I started working in a subway as well for like 6 hours a week, and that is I felt so independent and everything. I'm like, you know what, kya bole abhi, like this sounds good, but
I was always like, I'll tell you something. So maybe it's my background, maybe it's how I was brought up, maybe it's my situation. That I was so against working in McDonald's. I was so against waiting tables. Okay, no job is small. I get it. Nothing against anyone who chooses to do all these things. Okay, I have nothing against anyone. The thing is that when I'm waiting tables, what am I really learning?
Yeah, exactly.
So these are formative years of my life that I'm spending like waiting tables and filling chicken nuggets in a basket, like in a bag. What am I doing?
Spitting on the onion rings as well.
So what am I doing with my life? So I would rather do something that is more intellectually stimulating. I'd rather, if I have time, and also like these people, borrow money from their dads. I would be doing the same thing. I'd rather borrow money from him and sit in a library and read something, instead of like waiting tables and like there's like a whole bubble around this, okay, being independent.
Yeah.
So I know for one thing that if I have to live somewhere, I think I'm independent enough to manage it on my own. And that's all I needed to know. Like I have that confidence in myself that I'll be able to manage it. Now I don't have to go there to prove something to someone. And I never needed the tag. So what is my end goal in life? Okay, and my end goal can be different from other people's end goals. Right? So for me, it didn't make sense personally. So in my family, there's like a lot of like, conjecture around this whole idea. Is like, and especially when your dad can afford it. So when, if my family's situation wasn't good, so it was obvious that I would study in India, and I probably wouldn't study abroad because the financial situation doesn't,
lead you to that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But again, that was not the case. So everybody around me thinks I'm like a nincompoop for like not not going and gaining that exposure.
Gaining their exposure. Right.
बारे जा दुनिया कितनी मोटी सी थी जो है. I'm like, guys, I have the internet. I grew up with internet. I don't have to see how big the world is.
Yeah, like it's like I don't know if it's been if it has been a trend for like years or not, but what I have seen, and you might also relate to, कि engineering यहाँ से कर रहे हैं, right? लोग India से, because it is cheaper. Bachelors are cheaper when compared to US. But when you go to do masters, सब US भागे जा रहे हैं, सब के सब US भागे जा रहे हैं. And I don't know, this fandom has like started in the past 1 decade or so, but I find it strange कि यार, I mean, and लोगों को क्या हो गया है ना कि अभी सिर्फ खाली यूएस जाना है, फिर वो भले ही यूएस के कोई थर्ड ईयर कॉलेज से करे या कुछ करे, बस हमें जाना है. Everybody is going, so I am going. I find it strange as well. Okay, I understand, if you have gotten into like an exceptionally good college, like Harvard है या Berkeley है या ऐसा कुछ है, तो that is understandable कि ना भाई you can go, but second tier third tier college ले लिया just कि 2 साल में independent रह सको, and that it's like the definition of independent has also अपने हिसाब से लोगों ने change कर दिया कि नहीं, मतलब मैं भले ही मेरे पापा से पैसे मांगूंगा, but since I'm doing my own utensils, I feel very independent now.
So I never wanted to do that, and I'm not learning to get a tag or to show someone or put pictures on Instagram for that matter. So so everybody's journey is different, right? And this concept to explain to like an upper middle class Gujarati family that अच्छा मेरा zone अलग है, मेरी journey अलग है, बाकी लोगों से सब जा रहे, तुझे क्यों नहीं जाना है? And the worst part is
उसमें भी फोमो देते हैं उन लोग कि अरे सब लोग जा रहे हैं, तू नहीं जाएगा तो पीछे रह जाएगा, ऐसा कैसे चलेगा यार.
So the day I have to tell them, no, okay, I'm not coming. So I have to write to these universities, right? So Durham is number 4 in UK, Loughborough is number 7. It was number 4 last year. I've gotten scholarships from both these places. So my mother's crying that day when I was writing to the college, hey, I can't, I'm not coming. So I'm telling the college that I have financial reasons, this, that.
Right.
So obviously, why would I tell them I'm going to New Delhi to study? So I told them I'm very poor, I can't arrange the money, this, that. Despite the scholarship, I can't afford this program. So
this is funny. I really love this. Okay? I can go. See, in the reality, you can go. Okay, obviously scholarship में लगे. But उसको अपन बोले कैसे कि मैं नहीं आ सकता because मैं न्यू दिल्ली जा रहा हूँ. So obviously financial reason तो देना पड़ेगा.
And they were like, you can pay your fees in 3 installments. So at my house, the situation was like, why to pay at once? No, finish. Third world country, no? So they also assume, अरे इसको 3 installment देने पड़ेंगे and all of that.
Oh shit, this is hilarious. सही बात है यार.
So, and again, like washing utensils, cooking and all of that, there's no character building related. I don't think there's any sort of, I don't think anything improves by doing that.
Yeah.
And I feel one thing I have observed this, everybody who goes abroad becomes very chindi after going there. Have you realized this?
So how is, can you tell me that, narrate something, some incident or something, because I don't know this.
Like let's assume you or I are getting married at the same age. We'll probably get married at the same ages, like 29, 30, whatever, 31, wherever. Okay. So now if you or I are getting married, there's like decor on the stage, right? So now our dads will put real flowers, okay, for decoration. There'll be orchids, carnations, lilies, and tulips, everything, the works, okay. But now if someone's getting married, an NRI's son is getting married in UK, US, somewhere, they either use artificial flowers or they recently, okay, so now they have gotten a Zoom link for a wedding, which was taking place in distant family, but still family, right? So they had Gende ka Phool on the whole stage everywhere. This is okay. And can I tell you which car they drive in UK?
Which car?
Have a Rolls Royce Wraith.
Oh, damn, bro.
And then Gende ka Phool, like
ये तो बोरीवली स्टेशन में भी मिलता है.
Huh. And
Oh, jeez.
usually gende ka phool, yesterday only I bought a har for there's Ayodhya Puja yesterday, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Dashera. So I was tying all these garlands on my cars. That is gende ka phool basically.
Right.
And in UK that wedding was taking place. There's gende ka phool everywhere, literally everywhere. There's yellow and orange. That's all I can see. And it was okay. So if someone has budget constraints, I understand.
I understand. But to Rolls Royce chala raha hai, फिर भी ये क्या है?
Yeah, and now again, like this trend, I don't know much about jewelry in general, but again, like I was speaking to my mother, so my mother was like, okay, all of that jewelry looks fake, all of that is imitation. So I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So in India, like if you go to a chawl also, and if there's a wedding, they're wearing
They were real
jewelry.
gold.
They were less, but all of these people have some class. I feel like Indians have a lot of class. So in a chawl also, they'll wear little jewelry, but all of it will be real. Abroad, they'll wear too much of it, and all of it will be
all
fake.
of it will be fake.
Like,
yeah, right.
That's not how I live life.
That's right. I mean, this thing is always, I guess, I don't know how people change in a way. They stay in the countries for like 1 or 2 years for their masters, and they suddenly become American. I mean, how should I put it? Let me just recollect an example. But they become.
They have very strong political views.
Wow, वो एकदम woke हो जाते हैं. Oh, jeez. And that thing of downplaying, India's culture. This is very outdated and orthodox, and women are treated better in US. यहाँ पे तो सबको सब शादी करनी है. Like, what do you mean by what is this downplaying of our own culture? Like, see, I understand the city and the country, grows on you. I totally get it. But at the same time, you don't just downplay your own country. Na, flaws hai, माना India में flaws है, बहुत flaws है.
But every society has flaws.
Every society has flaws. It's not perfect.
So in America, like the stepfather is like now in a relationship with his own stepdaughter. Now they have a and the mother is now the grandmother of her own husband's child. Like, dude,
कुछ भी चल रहा है वहाँ पे. Oh,
yeah. So
it's like kind of weird as well. I have also experiences that
every society has flaws at some level.
Yeah, it has some flaws, but people change in a very weird way as well. Like, which is very uncomforting. Maybe someone le tu 24 साल India में रहा. Okay, let's take my example. I grew up like 24 years. I'm in India, and now I'm in Dubai. So like 1 साल में क्या, I'll change so much that I'll play care. I mean, India के जो ये है ना, that's not good, man. You come to Dubai, like Dubai में क्या क्या है. That's what the hell is going on. I mean, Dubai के जरिए कैसे रहेंगे?
But don't complain. You're gaining exposure.
आया. Oh, gaining exposure, right? Gaining exposure. That's true. So now, Yash, it's you have like, in terms of education also, like you're really good at what you're doing. But at the same time, you have like different interests as well, which is collecting watches and having like depth analysis of cars as well. So, and I see that you keep going to those exhibitions where the vintage cars are put. So can you tell me what is that about, and where does this interest speak from?
So obviously, like all these things you can connect, like mechanical engineering, cars. So all of these are like interrelated for sure to some level. I'm very sure. So this is how my brain likes things to be. So yeah, about cars, I don't remember a time in my life when I wasn't into cars. Like my earliest memories of cars have been being able to name all these cars on the road, and like different, when I'm sitting in a car and I'm spotting other cars, okay, that's an Elantra, that's a Sonata, at the age of 3 and 4 and all that. So I don't remember a time when I was not into cars. So it's not an acquired taste by any means. It makes me me. It's a very big part of my being. And somewhere I think it also relates to my, so what is my idea of success? my idea of success is to be able to follow this hobby, to be able to enjoy these cars, to be able to see more exhibitions in different countries. So if suppose there's a rally every year. It's called the Mil Miglia. It happens in Italy, and there's Goodwood Festival of Speed in UK. So if I have the money and the freedom, I would like to attend all of these car events all across the world. I'd like to watch F1 races. So that is my idea of success: is freedom. So if Goodwood is next month, I'm like, okay, cancel, clear out my schedule.
Clear out my schedule.
I'm going to Goodwood and I'm going to have fun. So that is my idea of success. So I don't think even if I have like $1 billion, I'd buy a yacht or a plane or things like that. I just want to enjoy this hobby to the fullest. I will obviously buy certain type of cars and like race them on track and all of that. So that is also somewhere it's in my bucket list. But yeah, I think so. I want to be good in my profession so that I become successful. I want to become successful so that I can enjoy my hobby. So it's like a whole
circle, right?
I'm not a greedy man by any. I don't think I'm greedy at all, actually. So yeah, I just want to live this life
this way, right?
So, around cars, around watches, meeting people who like cars, meeting people who like watches. That's more of my zone, I feel. That's what I find joy in.
Right. Yeah. So which is your favorite car or your dream car that you would love to drive? Is Tesla like one of them, or
no, absolutely not. So so the one good part about my personal car journey is that I've always been into classic cars as much as I've been into modern cars.
Okay.
So so when I say favorite car, now I have to pick a favorite car from every era. I can't have one favorite car. But again, if I have to pick one car and only one car, which I will drive for the rest of my life and not get bored, is the SLS AMG.
Which one?
SLS AMG. The
SLS
one with the
AMG.
gull-wing doors.
Okay, so we'll just have a look at it. Dave, can you pull up SLS AMG? I'm not into cars, so I don't know which car you're talking about. So I'll have a look at it.
Right. But can I tell you something? Even if you don't know anything about cars, I'm sure you've seen this car. I am sure you've seen it somewhere because it's just such a big icon that it's everywhere. I have a picture on my device as well. I could just share screen.
Yeah, that's what Dave is doing. Wait.
Okay.
Have a look at SLS AMG. This one.
Yeah, see the first picture.
This was in NFS, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it's there in every game. It's an iconic car. It's the map of all cars.
Right.
Every time, so I've had the opportunity of sitting in this car 2 times in my life and like going for a nice spin. Not only that, I've seen it in person so many times, and each time I see it, I feel like weeping, and that says a lot. Like I see the car and I want to cry. I'm like,
yeah, you get overwhelmed with it, right? I understand.
This is magnificent, and I could look at it. If I ever owned an SLS, I would spend more time looking at it than driving it.
Oh wow!
I'll just put a stool in my garage and I'll just sit in.
Just stare at it for a while. Wow! Such a beauty, but
it's fantastic. It is hands down. So also SLS is like a modern classic now. The values are going up now. So the later I become successful in life, the more expensive the SLS will be.
Expensive the SLS would be.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Which is okay. Even like all I need is, even when the SLS touches like $1 million, I should have $1 million.
$1 million के लिए ना है मुझे.
I don't care. अरे 2012 में तो $200,000 में मिल रहा था, अब $1 million देना पड़ेगा. I don't think like that. So I don't think like that. I mean.
And what is it about watches that fascinates you?
Timekeeping fascinates me. Like we're all slaves to time.
Right.
And you can't, however rich you are, you can't buy time.
True.
So it's very gratifying to always know what time it is. Even though, like, if you know where to be, I have this philosophy. Even if I have nowhere to be, I'll just take a look. I'm like, okay, I've spent 40 minutes on Netflix. Like, what am I doing with my life? So it helps me keep a track of my day. So even at home, I always wear a watch, no matter what. And due to the pandemic, even more now, during the pandemic, we're always at home. So I didn't get a chance to wear my watches at all. So 2 months into the pandemic, I started wearing watches at home. And that really changed, it changed everything, because earlier I would just be like, if I'm laying down, I would lose like 2 hours and not realize. Even within those 2 hours, sometimes I'm asleep, sometimes I'm not, I'm staring at the ceiling. And I was dealing with the pandemic really badly, because I am sort of a workaholic and I can't sit idle for too long. So the pandemic took a toll on me and on my mental health and all of that, like everybody else.
Everybody else, right?
Wearing a watch really helped. It helped me keep a track of my day. And I'm like, okay, it's 4 p.m. If nothing, I would just go and make coffee at 4 p.m. to just some activity at least, to do something.
Right.
Yeah, so I'd just get up and make a cup of coffee at 4 p.m. That's how a watch has helped me.
I mean, I relate to that completely, for the reason that, see, this is my experience as well, that there is a difference the way you look at time when you're wearing a watch and when you're seeing the time on your phone. See, you brought this up, that even in the pandemic you were wearing a watch at your home. Okay, but at the same time you have your own cell phone and iPad and everything, but usme jab bhi time dekhte hain hum, it doesn't create such impact, I would say. Okay, at the same, it's a very different kind of impact, but it's not the same impact as wearing a watch on your wrist screens. For some reason, I don't know how to explain it to you, but
I have a very metaphorical answer to, like, I have a very metaphorical comment to make on this concept.
Yeah, tell me.
So so there are hands in your watches, right? In Hindi, what do you call them? Ghadi ke kaate.
Okay. Ghadi ke kaate.
Ghadi ke kaate. Kaate lagte hai, boss. We're all slaves to time.
I love this metaphor, and now I guess this can be a very apt answer to this situation. It really pricks you, right? Because digital mein, it is digital. I mean, numbers keep changing, aisa lagta hai, but kaate to lagte hai. That's true.
Yeah.
And you told me that you have a collection of watches as well.
Yeah.
So how many watches do you have, and can you show your watch collection on sharing your screen, if it is possible?
So I don't have a picture of the entire collection, and most of it is there. I'll tell you what I'm wearing now. It's a Seiko 5.
What is it?
It's a Seiko, Japanese.
Seiko.
Yeah. So I have 2 Seikos, 1 Tissot. I have a Fossil. I have a Tommy Hilfiger. I have a Hindustan Machine Tools car watch. It's manual wind. It's a HMT Janata.
Acha.
Casio, and I have 2 swatches. So it's like a mixed bag. I have three Swiss made watches, and rest everything is Japanese. But I'll tell you, so all my life I have worn good watches most of the time. So now what is good? So they were good looking. So when I was delving deeper into watches and horology in general, I figured out all my fashion watches. Like there's a Michael Kors, there's a Fossil, there is Tommy Hilfiger. All these watches look good, but they lack quality on so many levels. Like watchmaking is a different art altogether, and I've developed so much respect for watchmaking and watchmakers, because the attention to detail is next level on these watches. If you have to ask me, Tissot's somewhere on the borderline of budget and luxury, but I don't have a proper luxury watch yet, because I feel like I can't pick one. Like I just can't pick one. There are so many good ones. But if you have to ask me, my first luxury watch will mostly be a Tudor.
So
So
how do you define a luxury watch? Like, I don't know what is a luxury watch.
I
So
think, yeah. So I would say how I categorize luxury watches. Anything above $2,000 is a luxury watch.
anything about $2,000 is a luxury watch. Okay, in terms of monetary. Okay.
Huh,
Okay.
1.5 lakh rupees.
Hmm.
After that, you're stepping into luxury. And then there is ultra luxury also. There's 25 lakh and above. That is
Wow.
ultra luxury. So that's one segment I've not understood. The ultra luxury segment
Hmm.
is I think I've not understood because for me, watches are all about functionality. And
Hmm.
at 5 lakhs and above, there's only so much accuracy you can get. Like the accuracy of a watch, which costs 2 or 3 lakhs, is same as the accuracy of watch that costs 25 lakhs. Okay,
Hmm.
but I think that is the borderline where it starts becoming aesthetic, not functional.
Hmm.
So, how to explain it to you? When something looks beautiful and it is functional at the same time,
It has more value.
it has more value. So after that 25 lakh bracket, I feel it is all aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
That's why I don't get that segment.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's why,
a good question as well, and that's a question worth taking. के 5 lakhs का घड़ी माना, 10 lakh का घड़ी माना, but what is that beyond 25 lakhs?
yeah, you get watches that cost 1, 2, 3 crores also. Hardik Pandya wears them. I don't know if you've seen.
Oh yeah, the
Hardik
Gucci, the golden with diamond studded and stuff like that.
does the Patek Philippe, and it had emeralds around the border and all of that. So that cost 5 crores.
Damn.
Imagine how many people you can feed with 5 crores. So I like watches for me. I don't think even like I'm telling you, I'm not that sort of person. Like even if I have $1 billion, I won't go out and buy that 5 crore watch. I'll never do it. It's not how I was brought up. I am very conscious about how I live my life. So I would literally rather just I donate some money in schools. These schools and villages, they need so much infrastructure. I would donate computers to these schools, and give them internet and energy. Like I could install solar panels on all these schools for 5 crore rupees. Why would I spend it on something so vain?
On a watch, right?
Yeah. But again, if you ask me, $2,000 is also a very big amount to spend on a watch. But I feel draw the line somewhere, and I haven't found that line yet. I'm
Right.
still.
So, which is your favorite kind of watch? The one with leather belt or the steel belt? The one you're wearing? Is it stainless steel? What is it? What
Yeah,
metal?
so it's stainless steel, and I don't wear leather. I don't know. I think all my friends know this, and you and I don't speak that often or meet that often. So I have abandoned the use of leather in my life to be more sustainable, because leather comes from cattle, and I'm a vegetarian and borderline vegan. Like I'm imperfectly vegan. I'm trying, okay. Because like desserts are like my weakness, and to find good vegan desserts in Mumbai is like a big challenge. So I just eat that cake. I'll just sometimes eat pizza with cheese and all of that. So I'm imperfectly vegan. Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, like don't hope. Like I don't know. People are like, okay, I'm trying. Okay.
Yeah, you're trying, but I understand. So leather is out of the picture now, and
Leather's
stainless
completely
steel
out
you're
of
already wearing, which
already
is
wearing.
the
Third type
other
of strap.
kind of.
Yeah, so you get rubber straps also for watches, and for humid climate, rubber is not so good because it gets sweaty. For Mumbai like climate,
that's a very smart way to think. Rubber does not go well with the climate, so rubber belts are not preferable on watches in India.
Yeah, but again, the kind of fit you get with rubber belts, you can't beat.
Right. True.
Yeah.
You like the one? You like the one that G-Shock produces?
I love them. I love G-Shock. The thing is, my wrists, when you see, I have very thin wrists, and they're very flat in certain ways. So it's like a very flat kind of wrist, and it's very thin as well. So it's a 16 centimeter diameter. It's circumference, 16 centimeter. So now G-Shocks are big and chunky. So every time I
it
try
does not go. It does not go well with it, right?
it doesn't look like I'm wearing the watch. It looks like the watch is wearing me.
Wow, so your go-to watch is always the one with a stainless steel belt, like the one you're wearing right now.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. Because again, now stainless steel belts will go with formals also. They'll go with casuals also. Like right now, I'm wearing a t-shirt, and this watch doesn't look out of place.
Right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not looking at all right.
Now, if I wear a shirt again, it won't look out of place.
It won't look out of right. That's
Paisa
a
was-
smart choice. And what do you think about Apple watches, or the smartwatches that are coming up? Do you like them, or have you tried something like that?
Yeah. So the thing is, I've never bought an Apple Watch, and I don't intend to for the near future unless it's like very necessary. Now let's assume it already measures your SpO2, like your oxygen levels and your heart rate and all of that, and it detects falls and things like that, right? So if you fall down, it will notify your loved ones and all of that.
Oh, okay.
The app Series 7 has all these features. So I'm like, yeah, I like Apple. I mean, I like the devices and like I like the
But you
ecosystem.
haven't tried your the Apple Watch yet.
No, I haven't, and I feel it's a bit early. So I will. So when I do get an Apple Watch, I'll wear two watches. So one analog and one
smartwatch.
When it's absolutely necessary. Like suppose now, let's say I'm 24, and these days 30 or 32-year-olds are getting cholesterol.
Oh
diabetes.
yeah. Those kind of, because they don't take care of it, right?
Yeah. So if God forbid something of that sort happens, like if I have cholesterol at an early age, I'll have to start wearing something that tracks my daily activity, how much I'm walking, and like how many kilometers I've walked, how many steps I've taken, things like that. So when it becomes necessary for me, I will probably wear it. But right now, I don't feel it's necessary because I'm enjoying these for now. So.
These ones. That's a smart decision, I would say. It's a really smart, and you have put a lot of thought into it. But yeah, that's a good way to look at it, because some people, I mean, a lot of people, I think, wear for like at our age, okay, where people have just started earning, or on the verge of started earning. In that phase, people buy these expensive watches, smartwatch, just so for aesthetic purposes. That's what I have found out. Okay, I don't believe that anybody who is wearing a smartwatch at this point of time has put a lot of thought into why I should wear that watch, and it is purely for aesthetic purposes. Like obviously, people might have different reasons, but this is my opinion about it.
So in one use case, I think an Apple Watch makes a lot of sense. I will tell you that now. Suppose like I know you're into fitness way more than I am. But my body type is like, my weight gain doesn't show easily. My weight loss doesn't show easily. So I can wing it. Like my body type also doesn't change. It hasn't changed since school. I grew taller, but otherwise nothing else. Like no major differences. I still look pretty much the same. So yeah, I did grow taller, and Laura is proof. We both know Laura. So when I was 11th standard, I was much shorter than Laura. And after 12th standard got over, Laura and I are the same height now.
Wow. Yeah, she's pretty tall, I would say. She's so tall. I mean, I literally look like a kid in front of her. I have pictures with her as well of during the fest.
I have pictures.
But I look like a kid with her, seriously.
So people look at Laura and then they look at me. They're like, you can't be the same height. So Laura has very long legs and a shorter torso. She looks taller. So when we stand next to each other, we're the same height. And they're like, shit, you're really tall. I'm like, yeah, I grew. So I don't look tall because I'm symmetrical. My upper body and lower body are like... But Laura and I are the same height, and I have pictures to prove it. And I'm not wearing shoes in them. Neither is she. So...
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of a strange sight as well, to see a woman so long. Like how tall you are, 5'9" or 5'10", if I'm not wrong. Right?
5'11".
So it's like it's a strange sight. I mean, obviously, मेरे लिए तो कोई भी थोड़ा लंबा तो strange sight ही है. But to have a woman of such height is also like strange for me. But she must have amazing genes, like very tall genes to be 5'9".
Yeah, Laura's mother is also tall. Laura, yeah. So I've met Laura's mother. Laura's a very, very close friend of mine. So yeah, most people in her family are tall. Only her sister isn't. Fedora isn't tall. But I'm used to having tall women around because I'm very good friends with Rachayatha. I don't know. Do you remember Rachayatha? She was in our school.
Shetty.
Yes, Rachayatha Shetty.
Yeah, I remember the name.
Yeah, and Rachayatha has always been taller than me.
Yeah. Dude, she even in the younger grade, she was so tall. I mean, like when we were like 5'4" or 5'3", she was already 5'7" or 5'8".
Yeah. So she's still dead taller than me, and I have always been okay with that. I'm used to because of her being around and her and I hanging out so often. I'm used to having tall women around. So when I met Laura, it wasn't like
it wasn't.
I was like, okay, ठीक है. ऐसे भी लोग होते हैं. Because when I met Laura, I was also shorter than her. And you know, women stop growing after a certain age, but men grow till they're 21. So I grew till I was 19-20. My last growth spurt was in my first year of engineering.
Oh, that's great. You got lucky with your height. मेरा 8th standard से height नहीं बढ़ा. I'm the same, just same, 5 feet 5 inches.
That's a good height, I feel.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's normal.
And so, you know, yes, you are so much into watches now, and you have like an eye for the detail, and you're quite, you know, sensible as well to buy your watches. So how do you differentiate between an original watch and a fake copy, or, you know, first copy, or any of those sections of the watches?
So the quality, the thing is that when you buy $100 Seiko watch from Amazon, or say from the showroom or whatever, so at $100, they're able to provide such good quality in terms of the materials they use, in terms of the dial color and the R markers and all of that. So when you know what quality watchmakers are able to provide at that price, you start raising your expectations with other brands. कि ये $100 में मुझे इतना अच्छा चीज दे रहा है, तो $200 में तो इससे और बेटर मिलना चाहिए ना, $300 में और बेटर मिलना चाहिए, right? So basically, I think if your understanding of budget watches is very strong, means you can evaluate watches on the higher end also. Okay, at $250, $300, what is available? And there are some amazing watches at $300. Like if you are a young executive right now, you're just starting out your law career, of course you need a good watch, like a decent watch. And let me tell you, if you're not a hardcore watch enthusiast, if I pick a watch for you that costs $250, suppose, let's talk only in dollars because you're in Dubai and I'm in India. Let's not get
standard currency,
USD.
Yeah.
So even when I say something, I'll say $200,000, not $2 lakh.
$2 lakh.
Yeah, we speak your language. So for $250 also, you get such amazing pieces, and they will last you a lifetime. Legit, I'm not even kidding. So for someone like yourself, I wouldn't recommend spending more than $250, $300 on a watch ever. Agar shock nahi hai to, if you need great functionality, great reliability, $250 to $300 is the best spot to buy a watch. And go for Japanese in that also. Like you could go for Citizen, you could go for Casio, you could go for Seiko, Orient. So all these are my top picks for great reliability and long-term use. Swiss watches are delicate. Although they're beautiful, they're delicate. Japanese watches, on the other hand, are workhorses. They'll go on and on and on for years.
Okay, so Swiss, but the watches are mainly for like aesthetic purpose, although it has its own functionality, I don't deny it. And Japanese watches are for both like rough and tough use and, you know, for formals, casual, and functionality, aesthetic, everything.
Yeah, I think Japanese watches give you something at a price nobody else can offer, because they have mastered this art of mass production. Swiss watches, on the other hand, they're not into mass production. Like okay, budget Swiss brands do a lot of mass production, but when you talk about Rolex, when you talk about Patek Philippe, when you talk about Audemars Piguet, all these companies are not into like mass production, so they will never be able to offer you anything even close to that price.
Wow.
So Japanese watches are the way to go for anybody who's looking for a decent watch. Like, this is my, blind advice to anyone. If you want to buy a watch, you'll never regret.
Go to Japanese watch, blind advice. Wow. Wow.
And when you speak about history of watches and the legacy of companies and all of that, Seiko is 140 years old. What more legacy do you need?
Damn. I mean, wow. I mean, 1.5 century old.
Yeah. So when people say, okay, always buy a Swiss watch because they have a lot of history and all of that, Seiko has like a lot of history as well. Yeah. And as far as innovation goes, Japanese brands innovate like no one else.
No one else.
Like,
true.
If there's like a Casio Oak, they call it, the G-Shock. So that is very big in size. If they release a smaller version of that G-Shock, I will buy it next day. I have money kept aside just for that.
Wow.
It costs 9,000 rupees.
Which watch is that you're talking about?
Casio Oak.
Yeah, can you pull that up? Casio Oak. We'll have a look at it.
OAK. Casio Oak. It comes in so many different colors. It comes in resin. It comes in metal also. Lot of options and a lot of colors. I love colors, like in watches. Colors, yeah.
Is it? I have like agar watch le rahe, then it has to be like black. Just which one?
So the black one is the most popular. This one.
Which one? This one where we are pointing at.
Yes.
Okay.
That one is most popular, but again, you get so many colors in it. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see so many colors.
Okay.
For the same watch.
This one, this red, gray, and blue.
So go to this one where you see 3 watches to the extreme left, second picture from down.
Acha, the red, silver, and blue one.
Yeah. I
Hello. Tera video atak gaya tha. Yeah, repeat.
Yeah. I would love to wear the blue one, the metallic.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one, I would say. Even the golden one, then right next to it, the white one, they look good.
So white and India don't go well together.
Achha.
White and India don't go well together because our climate is, our air is generally very dusty. So your white watches start looking yellow over time. White shoes start looking yellow over time. So
that's true.
That's what I do. So, like if I'm buying black shoes or something, they'll be good like in quality, like you get Aldo or something. But considering our climate and our road condition and all of that, if I have to buy white sneakers, I will always go on the budget end. 1,000-1,500 bucks, so I can replace them cheaply.
Right?
Yeah. So black shoes I always buy expensive, white shoes I always buy cheap. Like
I find that even all these luxury items that you see, I find that you're quite a sensible person to spend your money. You just don't squander the money just for the sake of it. Because just taking a decision of why I should buy cheaper white shoes, why I should buy expensive black shoes, you do have a sensible reason to justify why you're doing what you're doing. Right. I find it really great this is quite a financial literacy दिखता है. Just because पैसा है, that does not mean कि अरे मेरे को पसंद आया तो मैं 5,000 का कुछ ले लिया, अरे मेरे को पसंद आया तो मैं 10,000 का white shoes ले लिया. No, that doesn't make sense. White shoes तो कितने का भी ले, वो इंडिया में गंदा होने ही वाला है. That is going to turn yellow. So why spend such huge amount on such things?
And in Bombay, like a new trend is catching on. There is a dry cleaning for shoes only, like a shoe spa.
Right. There is one store in Kandivali, I've heard about it.
Yeah, so now that I called them up and I'm like, okay, what are your rates and all of that? They're like 600, 650 bucks. I'm like, are you crazy? 1,000 में नया आता है जूता.
हाँ, वही 1,000-1,200 में तो नया ले ले हम.
Yeah, and decent ones for that matter. Like not something like really, like if you go on Amazon, you want to buy Converse shoes, you can get for 1,500 bucks easily. Like.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I was telling you about Apple watches, like it got interrupted. For one use case, like your use case, like you're into fitness, right? So for your use case, I can't imagine a device better than an Apple Watch. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, suppose if you want to run, you can't run with a cell phone in your pocket.
Right.
Absolutely can't. But again, you can't be off the grid for too long. As a professional, you can't be off the grid for too long. How can you leave your phone at home and keep running for 1.5 hours?
Right.
Yeah. There could be an emergency at work. There could be an emergency at home. And I have this issue. Like, I can't go off the grid. Like, if someone says, "Arey, camping chalo," to mujhe dar lagta hai. Like, I'll be off the grid. I'm not scared of snakes. I'm not scared of bugs. None of that. I don't want to be off the grid.
Okay, I get it.
I live on the internet. So, yeah. So for your use case, now you wear an Apple Watch, and now they have cellular also. Apple Watch. They have an eSIM card inside them, which you have to activate, and you have AirPods.
Okay, so when
your Apple Watch will stream music for you while you're running, and you can take calls on your Apple Watch while you're running, and you don't have to carry your big ass phone while running.
Wow.
So if
Apple in a way, I always felt that although they have expensive products, and they they haven't been upgrading or innovating something new with their iPhones, but the thing is they really take care of their clients. Whoever is in the Apple ecosystem, they take great care of them. Like ye wala jo tune reason diya ki, obviously there must be some professional must have faced this problem. कि अच्छा मैं भागने तो जा रहा हूँ, I like running and I can do it for 1.5 hours. At the same time, I am a executive, so I cannot stay away from work. So मैं क्या करूँ? And I don't want to carry my phone as well. So these things, I guess they do put in a lot of thought, and I really like that about them. That is why I guess the ecosystem is, sustaining for such a long period of time. I mean, I cannot imagine how airports could have been invented.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have like a theory like how airports could have been invented?
Actually, yeah. My main issue, you leave your earphones. How do you use them? You roll them?
Yeah, right. And then we roll them. Yeah, we keep them, right?
Yeah. And yet, however properly you roll them, yet each time they're tangled. How? Each time you reach out for them, they're tangled. So first 2 minutes go in untangling them and
untying it. Right.
That is the first one for me. Second one, I think that right now I'm speaking to you and it's being recorded, so I'm not going to move. However, if my doorbell rings and if I'm wearing AirPods, I could just get the door while our call is on, and I won't miss out on.
Right.
Now imagine me carrying my entire iPad
to just open the door. You'll see like a big boomer ki acha, wait a minute, I'm opening the door, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's another use case I can think of.
So that's a great theory, I would say. But
however properly you keep your earphones, you'll find them tangled.
Always
it is my theory. Kuch bhi kar lo, they'll just
always tangled. Right.
Yeah.
So with that, Yash, it's been a great conversation, and I mean, so many inputs we have, and I hope people like it. And it was great having you, and great catching up with you after such a long time.
It was such a pleasure doing this. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it was indeed.
We forgot about the recording part. I was just talking to you. I was just talking to my 14-year-old friend,
Right.
Yeah.
This with the podcast, that's what one of the motive is. Although it is recorded, and although we are putting it out in the public domain on YouTube,
yes,
people should never feel that they should never be conscious कि अच्छा मेरे बारे में कोई सुनेगा. Just like this, you brought ना कि recording चल रहा था. There is a possibility that someone could have been cautious about it or conscious about it. But at the same time, conversation इतना flow में जा रहा था ना कि it just distracts you completely, and that is the motive. That is why I don't even give such exact questionnaire कि नहीं तुम्हें ये question पूछे ना ये question, because वो बहुत restricted हो जाता है. But this has been totally fun, man. I mean, one thing I saw about you is that you are the energy wala part. You are totally into it. You are committed to it, and I can see that. The way you spend your money is in a sensible manner. You just don't squander around money with, although there is money. And yeah, you're quite a smart person in terms of your finances. कि अच्छा मैं ये करूँ तो ये, you love your freedom, I would say. And I really love that about you. It was great having you. And yeah, now I'll be stopping the recording.
All right.